Right, so here's your summary of chapter 3 in English, or just a bit of an English commentary. So the chapter is called The Definition of Boring, Die Definitie van Vervelig. Luan is traveling through the Karoo with his gran, and he says boring is like a tar road going through the Karoo. There's nothing to see except grass plains and the odd bit of plowed ground on either side of the road. He's not very happy. What he's been doing since he's been on the road is counting telephone poles, counting crows on telephone poles, and trying to sleep. And for about 3 hours, he's been listening to his grand's country music, which she plays on the Land Rover's CD or cassette player, because she doesn't have a CD player in the Land Rover. He wishes, and he's been cursing himself for not bringing his iPod with. Nowadays, most of his songs are on his phone, but at least on his iPad he could listen to some of his own music. He's also cursed his dad 1,000 times for sending him into the Karoo with his gran, and he can just imagine what Ryan and Div are thinking if they have to know that he's spending his holiday with his gran in the Karoo, along with this silver urn which is now moved to the back seat, which contains his grandfather's ashes. And thanks to his dad, he hasn't heard from his two best friends for about 2 weeks. He's pretty sure that Ryan's parents aren't too concerned because they're more worried about having parties and meetings and making overseas travel. So, and Div's mom has probably given up on him a long time ago because she is a single mom and she's a nurse. And between Div and his older brother, who's been expelled from 3 different high schools and seems like he's trying to get expelled from every single high school before he leaves matric. He doesn't think that they're really going to be punished for whatever they got up to. We still don't know quite what he did. We just know that he's being punished and he's not very happy traveling through the Karoo in a Land Rover with his gran. Even though he and Ryan and Div, they differ like night and day, they are still his best friends, and in fact they're his only friends. And he feels his dad is being unfair. Then Gran says to him at the end of page 19, are you ready to cross over the Orange River? So they've been traveling along and now they're going to cross the Orange River. And she just smiles because he doesn't say anything. He's almost sort of sulking, so he doesn't want to speak to his gran, he's not talking. And every now and then she just smiles as though she knows something that he doesn't know. And that irritates him as well. They travel up a hill, and on the other side of the hill, they see this massive big dam wall which they start driving along. And the dam is called the Van der Kloof Dam. And as they're traveling along, so they pull to the side where there's a viewing point, and there's this sort of rest stop with picnic tables and concrete picnic tables where you can stop on the side of the road. They get out, and Gran fiddles in the back of the Land Rover and takes out a camera, and she starts taking photographs of the dam. Luan gets out as well, notices there's a signboard saying toilets, and he decides he's going to go off to the toilet. He comes back and then he stands at the railing of the dam looking out at the dam, and he thinks to himself, you know, the bushes around here are so thick, maybe I could just like run into the bush and disappear and Gran wouldn't find me and I could live for the rest of the holiday in the bushes here. And then in his mind he's thinking that Dib would probably say, or Ryan would probably say, yeah, but you can't get McDonald's burgers in the bushes. So he can imagine Ryan teasing him like that. When he goes back, his gran's still taking photographs, and so he starts staring out over the dam water, and he can see a motorboat in the distance, and then suddenly he can hear his gran clicking on the camera, and he looks around and he realizes that she's been taking photographs of him. He's not happy, but she just like ignores his upset look. And he just remembers again the saying, yeah, the right remains silent. Anyway, she says she's going off to go and see how clean the toilets are. And just after she's gone, a silver combi arrives and parks a little distance away from them. Before he actually gets a good chance to read it, he sees on the side of the combi doors the letters TR and KER. A girl gets out of the combi. She's got lovely copper brown hair, which is loose around her shoulders and very curly. And she's got a milky white skin, which looks like it'll get really badly burnt in the sun. Around her neck, she's got a big pair of binoculars, and she's got a book in her hand. He smiles embarrassedly and looks away quickly when he notices that she was actually waving at him. And she probably knew that he was staring at her. He walks away a bit and pretends he's looking at the dam. When Gran comes back, she says it's no wonder that the toilets are used on your own risk, because apparently the toilets are in a disgusting state. And the girl says, well, thanks for the heads up, because clearly she also might need to go to the bathroom. Then Gran goes back and gets out some more stuff out of the Land Rover, and she takes out some patkos for them. It's basically just Woolworth sandwiches and Woolworth juice. They go and sit at the table. In the meantime, the girl's mom's also got out of the combi, and she's got rather short-cut hair, and she's also waving friendly at Lewin and his gran. While they're chatting away, the mom and the daughter, they put out this table. As you saw in the little video, they put out a table, and on the table they put a tablecloth, and then they put out Energade bottles and bananas and sandwiches. And then the girl stands away a little bit, and she takes photographs of the table on the side of the road. So they've just put up this table on the side of the road, and they've put all these things out. And then she takes photographs, and then the mom puts on the kettle and sets out some coffee cups on the table as well. Suddenly his gran clears her throat, and he looks back and he gets a bit of a fright because he's been staring at the mom and daughter setting up this table. And then the gran says, are you ready to go? And he's not really all that happy, because he was actually just interested to see what they were doing. Anyway, he nods, and then he tries to show that he's not really as upset as he is. And he reckons, well, he'll probably never know now what Lana and her mom are doing. He knows her name is Lana because the mom said, Lana, have you got whatever she was looking for earlier on? Yes, did you remember to bring the towel? So anyway, they're sitting down, and the girl's in the camping chair, and he goes off to the rubbish bin to throw his stuff away, and he notices the woman looking at her watch. The girl sits comfortably in one of those fold-up chairs, and she's reading a book, and every now and then she looks up with the binoculars and stares at the top of the hill. He's trying to see what the title of the book is that she's reading. Suddenly she yells, here he comes! Her mom jumps up and comes and stands next to her. They both clap their hands and scream and shout and cheer because they see a cyclist coming over the hill. And Luan notices that it's a man, and he's an elderly man or older man. He doesn't look like the cyclist that Luan normally sees at school. He's got a neon pink cycling shirt, and he's got a slight stomach because his legs are quite burnt quite red, and the sweat is streaming out under his helmet. But with a smile, he rides closer, and he sort of comes to a wobbly stop, and then he takes off his helmet with one hand. The girl runs closer, and the whole time she's taking photographs of her dad with a cell phone. And she says, Moisu Pa, and he says, thank you, and he's a little bit out of breath. Stiffly, he climbs off his bike and pushes it up to the combi. His wife gives him a towel, and he wipes his face and his neck dry, and then he takes a long swallow of or sip of the Energade that she gives him. Then all of a sudden the Land Rover growls in the background, and Luan opens the door and climbs in because clearly Gran's in a hurry. As they pull away, he sees the girl with a wild bush of hair throwing the hair over her shoulders and waving to them. And he realizes at the end of the chapter that he never actually got to see what book she was reading. And that is chapter 3 in a nutshell. I can just tell you that the next chapter is going to be called Gejaag na Windpompe. So guys, I hope you have read the first 3 chapters, listened to the videos on YouTube. This book is going to be part of our exam when we do eventually have exams. So please get up to date with it. All the chapters have been photocopied for you. We will get the book when we get back to school. I have ordered them and they're going to be delivered. And then we're going to carry on from wherever we are. We might still be doing the Google Classroom until the end of chapter 4. Hopefully by the time we get back to class we can all start together on chapter 5. But I need you guys to get up to date because, as I say, this is going to be part of the Setwork exam. Stay safe and I'll see you soon.